this was the project that was like, you have to do it fully R-rated. You have to fully do it mature, unless it's not happening. And there were people when this was announced that were like, no, Disney's going to dilute it and all that stuff.
Bro, I think they did the opposite. I think that's why things happen. They're like, oh,
Oh,
we'll
oh,
show
oh,
you.
oh.
Like, I didn't expect Disney to go harder than
I was like,
Netflix.
take it
That
easy.
was
Take it
not in my
easy.
bingo card. I did
Yeah.
not think we were gonna get a Disney Plus show that was more brutal than a Netflix streaming show, like at all. So
Which is awesome.
that's
place to
cool.
be. Welcome to Something to Marvel About, a podcast where we discuss and dissect the week's MCU releases. My name is English Dave, and joining me because they also appreciate a pair of double Ds, my co-hosts Raven and Andrew. What's up?
What up, Dave?
What's up?
We're
here
bringing
to talk-
energy today.
There
It's
you go. We're here to
Daredevil.
talk about the double D himself, Daredevil. He's
Yeah,
back.
he's back.
As you guys know, we're here to talk episodes 1 and 2 of the new series. We're going to start with a brief spoiler-free segment. Andrew, I'll start with you. How do you feel about this return?
I feel that the return has done justice to the source show. A little bit of a different speed in ways, but in ways that I think by the end of the season we'll appreciate a lot more. I'm hyped to be back. I think we're all hyped to be back. A lot of visual things are fun as well, but yeah, the actors all being here is probably my favorite thing. So I'm hyped. Let's f***ing go.
Raven, what are your spoiler-free thoughts before we get into it?
This is a great way to kick off. It's an amazing way to raise the stakes. I think acting wise, it's the actors that we've always grown and loved with slightly better material, to work with. If you're on the fence about watching Daredevil because you feel like, I don't know, Disney, whatever, like let that shit go. Let it rip. Press play right now. Like, don't even listen to the rest of this podcast. Press play and tune into the rest of the podcast
or
with
do
us.
both, I guess.
Just do it. Just do it. There's nothing bad. Go watch it. If you like Daredevil, you'll love it. Get out of here.
As much as I enjoyed the Netflix version, Raven, I'm sure you understand this, is that sometimes I think when they ground comic book shows and movies, they forget that it's a comic book, right? It
Yeah, for
feels
sure.
so much like it's just an action drama type stuff, not a comic book, not the source.
Mhm.
This was able to maintain the grit of the original, but I think it did a better job of making me believe this is a comic book world. It's not
I
trying to be
actually
our
agree
world.
with that. Yeah.
The cinematography felt like comic book panels. Like
Exactly.
it actually read
Mhm.
like different
Mhm.
panels of comic
Playing
book.
with
I felt like the way
silhouettes
that
and
the action
imagery.
played out.
Yeah.
Right, right. Definitely.
It's like stylistic moments, and even some moments I do have
superhero
some
poses.
I do have some
we love
nitpicks
it.
with some visual moments, but I think with initially it was nitpick, but then after time I realized that's more stylistic, and it kind of made me feel more part of that world. And I also
Yeah.
think in conjunction with that, this does a better job, or one of the best jobs, of making New York feel like a character. In Marvel, New York's a character, right? The city of New York. We get shots and moments of New York where you're like, yeah, this is New York. It's not just
like I live
Big
there.
Apple.
right. Exactly.
There's definitely some New York pride going on. And watching the
Mhm.
show, I'm like, wow. Dave, did you feel prideful being that, like, Dave actually lived in Hell's Kitchen for like what, 10 years almost? Dave lived in Hell's Kitchen, in the heart of Hell's Kitchen, before
Right
they
there.
cleaned it up. I saw a sex worker get slapped in the face by a pimp right outside of Dave's apartment in the middle of the night. It was crazy. Dude almost slapped me. It was wild. But that was like, and this was like
That's
in
not funny.
2000. This is maybe 2010. It was that
Right.
long ago.
But
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna say it wasn't that long ago. Okay.
shit.
15 years
Now
ago.
I'm
That's a good
alive.
15.
It was
That's a good
2017.
Yeah. That's a
That's how you know
short
you're
while
older.
ago.
Like, yeah, 15 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. What?
There's
Four
people
score and
listening like I
7 years
wasn't
ago.
alive.
Right.
But yeah, Davey lived in old actual Hell's
Old
Kitchen.
Hell's
The Hell's
Kitchen.
Kitchen that needed a Daredevil.
Right.
Like, how does that feel for you watching it?
No,
Do you feel like, yeah?
it felt great. Again, that authentic nature of just like, it didn't feel, outside of when it's trying to be stylized, it felt like they were on location. Right. It felt like everything was, the city was part of the set. And the story is about the city, right? And that doesn't work if we don't know the city. And I think even if you're someone who's never really been to New York, because New York's famous enough, it's that without, it doesn't have to say New York. You kind of just feel that vibe
The
of New York.
energy
I thought
and
it was
buzz.
done really well. All right, let's go into spoilers. Just like this episode, the series doesn't waste any time. Raven, I'll start with you. Were you like me in that
Uh,
heartbreak moment? Were you like, okay, he's gonna get up. He's fine. He'll get up. He's fine. How do you feel?
I was just praying for an off-screen death.
Exactly.
You
At
know?
least
I mean, I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you're a nerd enough to know that the rule of thumb in comic books and comic book movies is if the death happens off screen, it's not real. It
it's
doesn't
not
Yes.
anything.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
So I was praying, hoping, and wishing we're just gonna hear the sound of the heartbeat stop.
Yeah.
We're never gonna follow up visually on what the hell happened. And then
Yeah.
maybe 5 episodes from now, he's gonna come back as a villain. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back as a brainwashed villain.
Like
But as
Elektra.
as
How did
just
she
a
come
dead
back?
guy, like he's just
Oof.
dead.
just
Like
out.
Foggy's dead, man.
I
And
mean-
like the way it played out too,
Oof.
I feel like as film lovers, we should have known to some extent that something
Seriously,
was coming.
though.
They were
Because it
literally
started off
standing
way
right
too
outside.
happy. Come on.
Yeah, it's
Like
also
all the
Gang is
signs
back
were right
like us,
there,
you know?
and like all of us took the bait. I can't believe I took the bait. Why would I believe that there was just gonna be this happy,
Raven.
beautiful moment happening, and no
Marvel-
one was gonna die?
Raven, Marvel did the Marvel thing and played us. Like
That's
leading
what
in
I'm saying.
the marketing, leading up to this, they were like, the whole gang is back. They're all together
Yep.
again.
No, because at first they were like, the gang's not coming back. Nah.
Right, it was-
and
yeah,
then
it
they
was
were
just-
like,
yeah.
Flip the
hey
script
guys,
and,
we're
like,
bringing
fine.
back the gang. And we were like,
was-
Like,
they did not
shut
say
up.
how. They did not say for how long. Nothing. And we
They did
all
not say
just,
Karen would be out too. It wasn't even
just
like
reeled
her
in,
and
just
Matt.
took
Nope.
that
Just-
bait. And oh
Mm.
man. And it was so much. Because you're sitting there thinking that the underlying thing in this scene, because we're all looking for something. Where you're like looking in the bar for Easter egg. You're like,
Right,
oh my
it's-
God, it's
yeah.
Josie's bar,
Yeah.
which is a famous bar in the comics also. Josie's is usually a villain bar though. So in this, it's a lawyer cop bar, which is interesting.
Yeah,
little
same
twist.
thing.
You're like, okay.
Kidding. I joke. My wife's a lawyer. Sorry.
Nah, that was a good one. But so we're all looking for the clues. We're like, what are they trying to tell us? And we think it's like, oh, him and Paige have a romance now.
Mhm.
Oh. And then the phone call, and again, I was like, maybe Foggy's
Just
just
like-
gonna go dirty or something. Maybe there's like something to Foggy we don't know. He's not the good guy.
Then
And then
blood
he just
splattered on her
dies.
face. It was the
just
blood
dies,
on her
bro.
face for me because it
Oh,
was
it's
like
just the-
no.
For me, and again, let's go back, like Raven said, bring it back a bit, because I think it's done really well where everything's overwhelming because we see the return of Bullseye,
Yeah,
Point Dexter himself.
bossing in like
The
Right,
second you
just
see the
walk,
glove, you're like,
yeah.
no.
And then
And you just hope you're wrong. Like,
And then the way it plays out would kind of mess with Daredevil and mess with us, right? Where Daredevil's like, I'm gonna go get him. Goes to him, and then Bullseye's like, perfect, you've left. Thank you.
Yes.
Daredevil's like, I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, exactly.
God damn.
and we all know
Like,
he can't make it
gotcha.
back in time. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were all impressed with how fast he got there.
Right?
Right?
Like,
Like,
but-
oh, look
I
at
was
you.
like,
You got
yeah.
faster, bro.
right?
Then I was like, no,
No.
you're
Running
not
the
that
wrong way.
fast.
Yeah,
no one
no,
is.
Go back now.
Oh,
Yeah,
I-
turn around.
No, but I
And
love
that's-
his swing though. His swing back in was
oh yeah, that was,
like,
and that's what I was
yeah.
saying in the
Parkour.
in the spoiler-free section.
Exactly.
Initially, I was kind of like thrown off, and I think it's just because
Yeah.
we haven't seen that,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Because
comic-y
that's part
one.
of the comics, right? The comics
Exactly.
swinging and all that. That's the comics,
Yeah,
and I think I like that they did it because I think it's embracing the comics nature, and it's like, okay, this is a
Mhm.
stylized world, and they do things to kind of make it more stylized, like when Bullseye comes in, he throws the gas canisters, to
Mhm.
create the smoke in the atmosphere, right? So it's not just where the hell did the smoke come from, right?
Like,
It's
exactly.
like when they do that.
Funny thing is, wouldn't have cared.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Like, I appreciate you for making it practical, but y'all ain't even
Yeah,
have to do all that.
mhm.
Thank you.
But it also has
I
like
just
narrative.
accept smoke.
You could have
Smoke
gone
is
has a
some
awesome.
narrative
Power Ranger and we'd be fine.
Right. Could have been some guy's cigar at the cop bar. I don't know.
It has some nice
Yeah.
narrative purpose because again, Andrew, I'll go to you. What I like about his attack is that he's attacking everyone. I don't
Yeah.
care. Woman in the face. Guy in the
So it's like,
What?
look at this guy up the stairs. What are you looking at? What are you
Yo,
looking
watching
at?
the scene again, him just randomly throwing a whole object at this woman's chin just cause. Mid-fight, she wasn't even like, maybe you should start being the right guy.
right guy
Yeah.
being the wrong guy got you punched out.
Oh my goodness, too good.
Yo, he have to, and it's completely random. Like she's
Right.
not even a part of it. He's just mid fight. Pow.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's on
Those guys
smoke.
behind the door,
take
like
that,
you close the
Daredevil.
door and they just wait. Move. The guy gets
Like
crumpled by the
like
door.
TV show,
Like, come
the
on, bro.
French doors or whatever they're called.
Andrew, I want to ask
Yeah.
you. You know, we have a nice one shot or fake one shot fight. What
Yeah,
did you think of that fight
all the
between
way.
Daredevil and Bullseye?
I thought it was great. They're definitely doing a little homage to the hallway scenes, right? Um, but I feel like the it was so like not glamorous yet effective. Like it's like these two are highly skilled, so they both make themselves look normal. But it's
Right,
just
right.
so funny. Like
They
another
cancel each
two
other out.
knives in his back. Like
There's like,
another two knives.
it's like 15
It
knives
just
in his
keeps
back
going.
by the end.
Oh, but no, it was. I thought it was fantastic, especially the end. Like I gasped because I was like, "Do it, Daredevil! You should throw him off!" Oh my god, he threw him off!
I didn't mean to do
I
it.
was like,
It's
"Don't
like,
do it!" Oh,
that's
it
one of
was,
those times you back out slowly. You just fade out. Okay.
especially
Let-
from Karen's perspective, right? Because she's like,
that could have been anybody, but I like that moment because that could have been Matt in her head.
mm-hmm.
Right? She's like, I don't want to turn
Yeah,
around.
she's like, don't, like, don't. Because same
I'm
with us,
definitely
like,
not turning
even
around.
when Froggy
My
got
bestie
shot,
just got shot.
she could have
So,
gotten
like,
shot. Like, I don't know. They messed with us that whole scene because
I'm just walking home at that point.
exactly. What if he landed on
Like,
Karen?
I'm never turning around again.
And let's go to that, right? What I like about that, again, brilliant storytelling that gives us the emotional drama, but at the same time informs us on Matt's abilities. Right?
Mhm.
While he's fighting Bullseye, he's hearing
He's still
Foggy's
listening
heart
to the
rate.
heartbeats.
You know, I thought that was brilliantly done because it's
Yeah.
just so painful. It's just like listening in, punching, listening in, punching,
Yeah.
and just like he doesn't want to kill him until the heart stops. And the way he
Yeah.
pushes him, that kind of no
It
look.
was so like just like get out of here, you
Ugh.
piece of
Worthless. Like, oof.
Ugh.
waste of
Just like,
space.
dude.
Oof.
And Andy, I'll
Damn.
ask you a question that you don't have the answer to, because Bullseye hits us with the Undertaker wake up. Dun. What do you think that's all about?
Yeah.
And of course, you must agree, he's working for somebody. What do you think's happening there?
Because he has what like fake adamantium in his spine. It's not actually adamantium. I forget
Because
what it is. in the
last
comic.
show, Kingpin broke his spine.
Like he really pushed him against the side of the wall. Great fight. But yeah, at the end of it, we saw him getting some surgery, right? Which is in line with the Matt Damon movie as well. Matt Damon? That's not
Matt
his
Damon.
name.
Wait, I
Wait,
was
Ben
like, what?
Affleck. I was like,
I
different
was
white
like,
guy.
what?
Wait. Imagine I just kept on going. It's a different multiverse. Yeah, the Matt Damon. Remember Matt Damon, Daredevil?
It's one where he's Loki.
Michael Cox.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh, too funny.
Charlie Day.
But yeah, same thing that happened in that movie though they didn't touch on it. Like, so Bullseye always gets some sort of enhancement to his body. So that's definitely what's happening here. But yeah, I don't know the by who. I'm still thinking, because this world is
Because he's not
shared
working
in
alone.
New York. No, for sure not. But like, that's the thing with this New York. It's like it could be anyone. It could be the League of Shadows. It could be freaking the Hand, because the Hand is still closely connected to this world, right?
Every time somebody says the hand, I think of the foot, which is stupid. Because
No,
I
it's
just
not.
think of Ninja Turtles.
No, it's
But
not.
isn't it the foot is making fun of the hand, right?
Yeah.
A
Ninja
message
Turtles.
from the foot.
The
Shut
Ninja
it.
Turtles were a parody off of
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Okay, good. I feel
Yeah,
better
the
then.
foot, the
I
hand,
knew
stick,
that. Okay.
stick, splinter.
Yes, Splinter.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Okay,
the whole
cool.
thing. It's the whole
I
thing.
did know that. A message from the foot. Anyway, shut it.
Make me want to watch
Anyway.
TMNT right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Shit is still good. Just one thing I wanted to say about the one shot fight scene. You know, I could personally spend this whole episode on that scene. But anyway, the directors were in an interview, talking about the first episode, and they said that the camera is the dispassionate entity that is just slowly moving on the train we call the tracks of fate, moving with the action but not following in a frenetic way. So basically, like, talking about the one shot take, the way that they set up the camera, it was in a way that the camera like is the same as the audience, where like you're observing and you know what's gonna happen, it's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, a part of us knew Foggy was gonna die. just by the way that the camera was set up, by the way that the scene was set up, we knew it was coming. But the tension of, the sound of the heartbeat. First of all, the heartbeat is insane. Sound design just
So
went
good.
crazy on this.
So
Just
good.
went
Yeah.
crazy.
We
Absolutely.
didn't need all that.
So I
But-
love how the heartbeat alone sort of becomes the soundtrack for the fight scene. Because between like the more rapid the heartbeats or the larger gaps there are between it, you can hear Matt's punches get harder. You can tell he's getting more and more ruthless in between gasps. The gaps between it. You can tell he's also like sad. Another thing that was brought up too is the fact that how amazing is Charlie Cox acting to where even with half of his face covered in a mask, we still feel the anguish of him slowly losing his friend in a fight scene. Like during a fight choreography, which is insane.
While blind.
While probably just being a stunt double too. Like his face was so impactful while he was on screen that while the stunt double's kicking ass, we still accepting that Charlie's going through it. I just thought like in terms of a one take scene, I felt like it was just done so well. Even it wasn't a full one take, but it was just done so well in a way of both I guess, gripping you in a way that's action-packed, entertaining, but also heart-wrenching. And when that climax finally comes, the end of that scene, ending with Foggy's dead and Bullseye gets tossed off a building by Daredevil, who said he's not gonna kill. Like, damn, that's a first episode. I'm sorry, but whoo! I was like, I need a minute. I need a minute. Like, that was
minutes.
not...
And that was all before the credits.
Oh, the first.
That's what I'm saying. This is before we even heard our theme song. Theme song and opening. Fire, by the way. Didn't
Great
think I'd
remix.
like it more than the Netflix one. But I do. I like
Great
that it's
remix.
stone instead of blood.
The
Which some
Concrete
folks
City.
are saying. Yeah, which some folks are saying that's the transition from, the last season and now. Now it's more like gravestones, Like compared to like Bleeding Heart and it being current and you having to stop the bleeding. Now it's like you have to like
They did.
right.
Yeah,
You have to
not the
avenge
bleeding, them
the dead bodies, gravestones.
Just about that fight, one thing I like about this, and it's a consistent thing with the Daredevil narrative, is I like the fight. They get tired while fighting. Right? It's like-
Well, shit, he only got stabbed 40 times. All the knives in his body.
It's just
Oh,
Like both
That's
of them.
a good
getting
suit.
tired.
Porcupine,
Like-
yeah.
So both of them just tired while fighting. Just like, get off of me. It's like,
Yeah.
the kid is brutal fight. I love that they did things like that. They weren't like superhuman endurance.
Yeah.
Even if it does push it, because it's comic books, it still reminds us that these aren't superpowered people. They're just highly skilled.
Exactly.
After the great end credits, opening credits, as Raven just mentioned, we did take the story into a new place. We reset the status quo. Again, it's one of those things where you think you know what the show's about from the beginning, and then we jump. And because I thought even the whole show would be about finding out who killed Foggy. That's the whole narrative. Not really. It might get there eventually, but that's not the narrative. The driving force of Foggy's death leads to Matt being like, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna have a normal life. He actually gets a good job, becomes rich. Raven, I'm gonna come to you. Status quo change for Mr. Fisk himself. After polling and everything like that. Fun fact, this was written, it was inspired in part by the Trump narrative, but this was from the first term Trump narrative. They didn't realize Trump was going to be president again in the second term. So the timeliness of it just feels interesting. So my question to you, Raven, I think it's played really interesting. I don't think there's an answer here right now, is right now where we've seen him, do you think Fisk is actually being genuine in trying to be a good mayor? Like an attempt.
I think that the same with any sociopath or psychopath, I think from his perspective, he is doing the right thing or a good thing. But I think that his perspective is askewed, in terms of like reality and in terms of his moral compass. I don't think that he's looking through the same lenses that you and I are. So because, I think that he's definitely reformed, but in the way of Kingpin. And being reformed as Kingpin is still being an average shitty individual. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Kingpin was doing some ruthless stuff. As the was it police chief?
Yep.
In this episode was bringing up, he's killed cops, he's killed law enforcement, he's murdered regular people, innocent people. He's done whatever he's had to do, to move forward. So him having remorse now is definitely weird, but
Does he have
Does he?
remorse
Does
though?
he? Where was
right.
that? Sorry.
But the
Remorse away.
writers have kind of spoken about the fact that, in Echo, in the end of Echo, she does that hand thing to him and she tries to kind of fix him and can't.
Yeah.
But there is a large chance that something did change in Fisk that day. We don't know what that means, but I do think he's more remorseful, but we also know how easy it is to trigger Fisk. So how long he's gonna be a good
That's
guy,
what I'm
I'm
waiting
not
for.
sure. We've seen
Yeah.
him brutalize somebody to death,
Yeah.
just because they reminded him of, killing his dad or whatever,
Yeah.
in a split second. So I don't know.
He's
I
done a
don't
good
think
job though. He hasn't flared up
I
so
think
far.
Vincent D'Onofrio is such an amazing actor
Mhm.
that he's gonna fool us anyway.
Mhm.
Like even while beating someone to death, there's still something charming about the character to where you're like, I kind of don't want him to get caught.
Did you?
You know?
Do you think he's like, oh, I know about Adam. Don't worry, I won't do anything to
Yes.
him. Well, Adam did.
Yeah.
Like there's a
Vanessa.
shot. There's a shot of Fisk.
Vanessa.
You see his hands all like
Yeah.
bloodied up. Did you
Yeah.
notice that? I
Yeah.
was
They
like,
showed his
"Ooh."
knuckles, right?
Yeah.
When he was with his
Because that's my
campaign
thing
lady,
too. Is like, ain't you supposed to be retired?
and
And
that's
what
when
you
she
supposed
was
to be
talking about
healing
the
for like
wife
6
too.
months?
Yeah.
But now you got messed up. Knuckles. All right. Fisk. You didn't last long. I don't know though.
There was a moment where I was kind of like, where is he going? In his mind, because he even says to Vanessa, like, make sure that everything we do is above board. There's nothing wrong. In fact, she seems kind of pissed that we're like losing money to try and do
She's
this.
like, fine, I tripled the profits. Things
Right.
are
Right.
going good. Now you're coming
And
here
you wanna
Right.
come and change all
talking
this stuff?
about you want to be the mayor.
Like what? Because even the commissioner even says, he's like, really, you do this for less power and less money?
Yeah.
So it's like, what is this for? But then at first
He
I was like,
really thinks he's gonna save his city, guys. He's gonna
I thought that
save
was the
this
thing.
town.
I mean, people love him. It's great. It's Fisk.
I mean,
Yeah,
people
get
love a
shit
lot
done.
of terrible people.
He fixed
You
it.
know,
This is
just because
facts.
people love them doesn't mean they're a good person.
And I love, I'd love to see a future like spin-off moment where someone's like, excuse me, who filled this sinkhole? Because you didn't have the permission. Oh, Mr. Mayor Fisk said it was okay. Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's not really his
Like,
job. He doesn't
n-
have the jurisdiction to call things like that.
it's
So, like, you're
100% gonna
fired.
happen. Yeah.
You're fired.
But I
Okay?
love that because just like in the real world, like someone like Trump, that's how people think things work. Trump is
Yeah.
like,
They
no, I'm
do.
just gonna go there and just be like, do the thing. And they're
Fix
gonna
the
do the
hole.
thing.
No, they're
Right.
fixing
They're
it.
gonna fix it for me.
In my
Okay.
comic book brain, that hole was created by some superhero battle. You can't.
Yeah, in my brain, it was a punch, and somehow it was a Spider-Man fight.
I was just about to say, is that dude in the spider outfit? I was like, hey.
Because for me, I was like,
Keep
was it
his
in a
name out your
Spider-Man
mouth.
fight? Like, technically, No Way Home, there was a fight
Yeah.
on a bridge. in the
Wait,
kind
It
of
was,
there's
scenario.
no
and
way the
Daredevil was in there.
Mysterio one? Just Mysterio.
I'm like,
okay.
Doc Ock, maybe it was his
And,
legs.
and like Andrew just mentioned, Fisk mentions Spider-Man indirectly. He's like,
Because isn't this after Mysterio? Is that the timing of this movie?
It's definitely after
yeah,
Mysterio.
yeah. This is
So
this is real time.
Spidey's still on up to the streets.
Yeah. This is
It's
real
definitely
time
after
because
Mysterio.
he's being helped, but people don't know his identity.
I'm trying to figure out if it's the same time as Falcon.
Probably, it's probably
Like
around
his
the same
homeboy
age.
president right now,
Oh yeah, it would be. It would make sense.
right?
Yeah, it would make sense.
Fair.
And we don't have to
Yeah.
see it, so it doesn't really
I mean,
matter.
but it also makes sense because, like,
Mhm.
obviously the people are tired of mutant types and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean,
Or,
part
like,
of the
because
narrative,
he's all anti-vigilante too.
yeah,
is,
it's
Yeah.
similar
you
to
know,
Civil War,
Russ.
right?
Exactly.
Like Accords and things like that. It's a similar kind of narrative to that. Fisk and Matt sitting down having the conversation. It starts off like friendly conversation, friendly banter.
He's like, yeah,
And
I actually missed you, buddy.
I missed you, guys,
actually, I don't hate seeing you right now.
It was
Hey,
great.
hey, man, you little motherfucker, you little bastard.
I love seeing again. Part of Daredevil's narrative is his religious beliefs. He's
Mhm.
grown in this really Christian religious household and upbringing for better and for worse. That's where he gets his guilt from, you
Yeah.
know. And I love what he says, he was raised to believe in grace. He's going to give you a chance. But I was also raised to believe in retribution. So you up, I'm coming for you. But I love the flip of Fisk being like, true,
It's
I hear
like,
you.
if I see you dress up in that spandex again, if I
I'll
see
see
you
you and I raise you.
run around in those your little tights, you and your friends.
If I
All right.
see you stepping out of line, sucker.
Like, yeah,
I say
this
to
is
say, Andrew, my question with you is, the series has done a good job, and Daredevil stories are always at best when you have Matt and Wilson kind of have similar stories, right?
Mhm.
Both of them are trying
the
to act
others,
in a certain way.
the daytime, the day version of
Exactly.
themselves.
Like they're trying to go against their true natures.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying to fight their natures. We're jumping up a bit, but
Mhm.
later on, Daredevil, Matt is forced to kind
Oh,
of
the scream was just
accept.
so. The scream at the end was just like I feel for you, bro. I know. They forced your
He's like, I
hand.
didn't want to do this.
Like,
I didn't
why?
want back in this life. So what
Oh
do you
my
think of the
god.
narrative of showing Wilson and Matt's parallels, but opposites?
It was great because the juxtaposition of them both when we know that they're like one hair away from breaking him up his neck, right? But they're
Right.
literally trying their absolute hardest to just do the right thing. And then even like you said with Fisk, I do believe Raven, like he's drank his own Kool-Aid. He thinks he's the right guy for it. People like him. He's like, let's go. But honestly, he's shown some more restraint than the old Fisk, right?
Right.
The reporter asking questions, people mentioning his wife, and he's just like, it's okay. It's okay. I've healed. That's okay. I'll take that.
White rabbit and snow.
That's
White rabbit and
yeah,
snow.
right. It's like that's fine. They shot my eye. I got my eye back. You know what? This is fine. I can deal with this. This is not the worst I've heard, right? But it's so funny because what I've loved with seeing Matt this episode, or the second episode, was you just progressively see him getting more and more stressed by the increasing dominance of Fisk. Like he's hearing him on the radio, he's doing like the win
Everyone
was
on the
already shocking
streets.
enough. It's just like, and I think the fact that like, which probably similar to Trump, honestly, is the fact that people also like him too. That's stressing you. It's different if everybody knows, okay, this guy's a dictator, we all hate him, whatever. But it's like, people like him too. Nah, I'm sorry, I can't live with that. Yeah.
Literally, he's like, that suit is like,
It's
he's just staring at it every day probably when he wakes up in the morning. And then he's sitting at home listening to the neighbors talking about it.
Yeah, and
because we only have to hear it when we're on TV, like
Right.
when we're on our phones.
Yeah,
we tune in the TV. We can turn
Super
that
hearing.
off. But to be in our apartments listening to neighbors be ignorant, got to be tough. That has to be really tough. Because they're in their house, so they're being super ignorant. Like they don't think nobody's around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just me and my loved one. Oh, I'm going off. So you have to hear like the worst in people. Like, and then you still got to pay their rent. That's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? If that's your landlord, you got to be like, here, mother.
Oh my! You don't deserve this, but just take.
Right? Yeah, take it. Whatever. Yeah, you donated this to the wrong guy's campaign, but whatever. Here you go.
Fisk can fix it.
Yeah.
Hey, not a bad line though. Not a bad. But yo, this kid who is all up his bum. He's
Fun
so
fact:
weird.
do you know who that is?
No,
that is
tell me.
What's the guy that played Tony Soprano? What's the actor?
James Gandolfini.
Yeah, James Gandolfini, the main guy from Blink. That's his son. In real life.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
the
main guy from Tony Soprano for The Sopranos.
No, but who's the son?
The kid that you see that's sucking Kingpin's ass. That's like loved him. Like, you're the
in
best.
His campaign, the young campaign.
Yeah,
like I love you, man. That brought the girl.
Trumpets.
Yeah, trumpets,
exactly. Yeah, that's a really good one, actually. Trumpets.
All right, let's talk about some of the supporting characters that we've been introduced to as well.
Like the
just
trumpet.
briefly, Raven, we get introduced to Kristen McDuffie, who's also actually in the comics as a love interest to Matt, and they have a business together, doing very, very well.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a baby. I was like, well, who the hell is that? Never heard of her.
We don't do that today.
What did you think of her blind date setup? And she was kind of right, even though Matt wouldn't admit it.
First of all, I'm gonna need her to get a better lace front because that's not gonna do. I can't allow it.
I mean, I won't say I didn't notice. Some of the lining in the front.
It's embarrassing. Who laced that up? I know someone. All right. They will take care of you.
Come on, cuz.
They will take care of you because boo, that ain't it. Loved her though she's gorgeous and wish somebody else did her hair.
Foggy was trying to bark up that tree, but
He
sadly
was, and I was
it
like,
didn't
not
work.
with that lace front. But
Foggy didn't care.
Foggy looking at her like, I don't know how it's supposed to look anyway.
Right. Fair enough. Like, oh my god, that's so funny.
But
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, I loved her character, and I love
Mhm.
what they're doing with her character. I love that they have that like bestie dynamic going, and that she, at least with him, is like, like she's able to tell him when he's being ridiculous and able to
Yeah,
keep him in line.
exactly.
And like, I felt like in the Netflix series, at least with both Foggy and damn, I was
Karen.
about to say Ellen Page. Jesus.
Okay.
You
Close.
can't get first and last name
Forward.
correct. It's just one of them's correct.
One or
Matt
the
Cox.
other. I was about to say Mrs. Page. So so between Foggy and Karen, I felt like Foggy was so extreme, like good, to where sometimes he was almost like not whiny, but you'd be like, "Oh, shut the up, Foggy. We want a fight scene," or like, or with Karen sometimes, because she was like also a love interest. I felt like she could only be but so real with Matt. Whereas like Kirsten seems like just because she's just a friend, like she didn't know him
And
when he
business
was
partner.
younger. Right. She didn't know him for years, or, for her to be like, oh, you changed. And, she's not interested in him in that way to have to, soften the blow if she's telling him he's being ridiculous. So I do like that for sure. I liked her character a lot, and I like what they're doing with it. I'm looking forward to seeing her more. And I thought that the date was cute. The date was cute. The blind date situation, how she didn't tell either one of them, and how they ended up liking each other anyway, which is how it works. Sometimes
But
the
it's like
bestie,
he doesn't tell her. It's like don't tell her.
Neither one of them do, which is great because I've been there too. Like, it's like, no, you can't give them the satisfaction.
I mean,
Especially
that
she
was
gloated.
never
She's like,
match made.
I'm usually good at these things.
Right.
You
And I
don't
like
know
that
that.
we're getting like organic like relationships on screen, So I feel like there was a long time where like if people were on screen, they were either a romantic interest or like what do you call her thing in the fridge?
Frick.
Yeah, they were just fridging somebody where it was like literally I'm throwing you in here just to make the audience cry. Where it's like I feel like we're starting to see a lot more like organic regular relationships. What?
Though you say about making
Fridge
the audience cry. I don't know. She's working for Fisk's. I don't think she's working as a bad person herself. I think she's just been hired as a
I don't
marriage
think she
counselor.
knows yet.
Yes.
I don't
She
think
doesn't
she
know
knows
how
yet.
bad it
And
is.
like if you're hired, I mean like okay. So if I'm a therapist, right? And I hear there's a rumor about a guy who bashed a man's head in who's running for politics, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to like help this guy?" I'm gonna try to help that man. I'm gonna try to.
She is someone
I'm
that
gonna
wants to help.
try. It's my job.
That's her work.
And
Even with the other
he's
kid.
running the city.
You see that
even
with
if
the other
they're
kid,
a little
right?
concerned, right?
The guy comes at the book signing. She's like,
Yeah.
I'll help you. Like
Keep
even
an eye
asking
on
to
that
help.
one though, because
Yeah,
I
I know.
don't trust that. I don't trust that
And I
guy.
was looking at him like, make sure he don't
That's a
reach in
villain.
his coat. Nothing.
Right.
Keep his hands at his side.
Yeah, like
And I found it
hands where I can
interesting,
see him at all times.
when she's signing the NDA, she's like, you realize just like hiring me is an automatic NDA. But sure, like
And
extra
I feel
levels.
like they're
I
like,
did love that
no,
too.
no,
She's
no.
like literally it's part of the job. Like it's anonymity. But that's what I also mean too by like I think for her it's just like this is just a job. Like this is a contract. Like I'm anonymous with all of my clients, and if you can pay the money, I'll take you.
I feel like
It's gonna be her downfall.
It's not a coincidence that she's on the phone call telling Matt, sorry, I got to cancel so that she can be here. Like, those walls going to collide in a bad way.
This was very CW shit, though.
I could see her getting killed, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's her and Karen
I
aren't
think
making it to the end of the season.
Yeah, and it's this guy that she's going to give psych help that's going to kill her. Because he just gives crazy.
Or at least like do one of those, it's her or this, it's the city, or what's her name? Heather.
Yeah.
And he's going to pick the city and she's going to die. I'm calling it now. So if it happens, boom. Boom.
Another minor character that I liked that we've seen, minor new character. I want to talk to you, Andrew, about Cherry, the retired cop.
Retired
Love
Can I tell
officer.
you?
Cherry.
Can I tell you? I thought we're having a retirement party for a cop, and like Raven says, TV and film has taught us, if it's your
Don't be
retirement
comfortable.
party,
Something's going
Bullseye is going to
wrong.
kill you because he
Yeah,
had the Bullseye attack
he
right
did.
after.
True.
I thought this guy
True.
was dead. I thought
Yeah.
he was
I
dead.
don't
True.
know how he survived it, honestly, because like you
True.
said, they probably did that on purpose. Like, they're gonna think they're
True.
gonna think they kill him. But yeah,
Miles
well done.
Morales' dad died right after
Right.
retirement party.
Right. It's always a retirement party. It's
Right.
always up to retirement.
And just
Facts.
saying, it's not too late. Doesn't mean he's gonna make it through this season. Because
He might not make it through the
But
week.
but I like his
Yeah.
dynamic with Matt because again, before we see them together, he's having a conversation with the other cop and he talks about vigilantes and how he doesn't like them, blah blah blah. But then now he finds out that Matt is Daredevil when Foggy dies. But now they're working together. He's like man of the street Alfred type
Yeah.
character. But what do you think of his character?
I like him. I feel like he, almost similar to Matt's new legal partner, Kristen. He has people that can be straight up with him, but are also gonna be there for him, right? Because even with the case that he takes on, he's like, bro, come on, don't go against the whole police force. And Matt's like, I must. And he's like, okay, fine. I mean,
I
I
like
really wish you wouldn't, but I'll help you.
I liked when he says Matt says to him, like, I know for a fact he wasn't lying. But he says to Matt, yeah, but you got to prove it.
Prove it.
It
Exactly.
can't be
It's
like
like, yeah,
superhero senses.
I
Doesn't
get
count.
that, fam. It's like, well, come
And I
on.
do love that. I love that he kind of grounds him back to the law,
Yeah.
because he's like, bro, that's cool and all, but what are you going to go tell them, basically,
Yeah.
Like, bro, he's telling the truth because I can hear
his
heartbeats.
heartbeat's
And his
beating
heartbeat
fast.
is stable, okay? So therefore, he's telling
Okay.
the truth. Like, motherfucker,
He's like, wait,
you don't
let's
sit
unpack
down.
that. Let's unpack that. You're a
Like,
what?
did you just beat this man almost to death because of his heartbeat? You ever think maybe he was scared?
Like, anything.
Like, get out of my office. Yeah, so I love Cherry.
Let's go into episode 2. Raven, I'll start with you. We are introduced to another new character, Hector Ayala, the White Tiger. In the trailers, I thought he was going to be played up as a villain, but he's actually a hero vigilante who kind of fills the void left by Daredevil, helping people. But typical New York fashion, he gets involved with undercover cops, gets put in prison. What do you think of his whole story and that opening fight sequence on the subway?
The opening fight sequence was really good. I definitely wasn't expecting the trip of death at all.
That
Where did
train.
the train come from? Yeah, but like,
pow.
what in the final
Okay.
destination?
Yeah, it was just like, oh, right. Like, yet again, first 5 minutes. Like, so
like
are the first
Disney.
5 minutes of every episode of Daredevil going to be someone being murdered out of nowhere? I'm with it. But, again, it's like, wow, okay, Disney Plus. One of the things I love about Marvel in general is that there's usually only gray area. Nobody's a full villain and nobody's a full hero, and that's one of the things we love the most about Marvel is that each hero and villain kind of exists within this gray area of like what is right and wrong and how do you go about it. So I love that it was seemingly just like a regular like civilian kind of story. About like something we witness all the time, just people bullying someone, or harassing someone on a subway in a public place. You always wonder, why doesn't somebody do anything? And, and especially as a New Yorker, like, this is the reason we don't get involved. Like, it sounds bad, but they tell you, like, just like we say out of it, like, New Yorkers really don't like get involved in certain things like that. And sometimes when you do, things escalate. And in this scenario, although, Hector had good intentions, unfortunately somebody died, and that somebody happened to be a cop, which is insane, but it's messed up too because I am very interested to see what the story is underneath that, because obviously there's some dirty cop situation going on.
With the Punisher tattoo on their arm, Punisher style type tattoo.
Just like,
right, and Punisher's
that's
probably
not a
going to
good
be
sign.
pissed. That's probably how Punisher's going to come back. Because Punisher was actually only punishing the bad guys. Punisher wasn't a bad guy. So I'm very interested in that. I like that. I like what we're doing with the character, and I like that it speaks to the problems with actual law enforcement outside of vigilantes, because this is, whether it be our world, Marvel, whatever universe, that's an ongoing conversation, is how we deal with crime and criminals and the justice system, and how a lot of people are wronged by it, and especially a character. I don't think that it was a mistake that the character is a Latino man, at all. Sad about the actor that passed away.
All
So
right.
sad.
Apparently 2 years ago. Which
Yeah.
is really sad.
Camad de los
It's
Reyes.
so sad.
Yeah,
RIP.
he was actually a soap opera actor back in the day. So, rest in peace. But I thought he did a great job. I loved him in this. I was
Yeah.
excited to see him as White Tiger, or maybe we still will, before the season's over.
Well, I mean, we saw the costume, but we haven't seen him in costume.
Right, like I don't know if we'll see him in costume. I hope so before the season ends. That'd be a nice little legacy to leave behind 2 years later. But yeah, I love what we're doing with the character. I love that we're talking about how people slip through the cracks, and how there's wrongdoings done to just the everyday civilian outside of the superhero world. This is also what's happening to your everyday citizen. And I'm very interested to see what's going on with these cops, because I know it's way bigger than what it seems to be on the surface.
It's New York and it's cops. I mean, yeah.
Andrew, when talk about this corrupt cops, I liked when Matt finds out that they're going to go to his house to try and kill him. So Matt's like, "Bet I'll be there waiting." I love the moment of seeing Matt using restraint to kind of, I don't want to beat these guys up. I don't want to beat these guys up. I don't want to beat these guys up, until they decide, let's try and kill him. What did you think of Matt finally letting out his pent up rage?
I feel like the arm he broke that showed the blood through
I
the
don't want
sleeve.
to. I don't imagine.
Wait, the only word I can use is we whelped here. We're literally like a puppy, like it was just so unexpected. Like
Dead ass.
oh, and then yeah, it happened. I think it happened so fast, right? And then the scream
hits the
after
gun.
was the perfect. Just that's all it was. Like there was no need for words. It's just like, you know what it is. Like we back. You two hit that like button, smash that subscribe. Let's get going again.
The devil is back.
I'm just
Suiting
like,
up immediately.
Right.
and it's just, I got stressed because his blood's on the floor of the scene. So I'm like, are they gonna find his blood there? I mean,
He picks
what
up his
level of
broken
cleanup's going
glasses.
on?
He
I
probably
like
doesn't
that. I
know
like that
they're
he
broken.
wears it. I like that. Exactly.
wouldn't know.
I'm just gonna say that. Like, I feel like they did that as like a semi-comic relief because
Yeah, because I'm
he
like,
looks so cool, but like, yeah. I mean, guess
No.
they weren't doing anything anyways.
They did
so-
set it up by earlier on. Karen was like, "You need a new pair of glasses. These are old and outdated."
That's true. That's
so
true.
she's
I
like,
Actually,
did. Even though I like his
But
little
she
red
did that.
glasses.
she's
They're
the one that
super
sent these
cool.
cops.
They're super cool, right?
She
Right,
said,
all to make him get new glasses.
"See, my friend Matt, he won't get new glasses."
Real
so-
He
roundabout
don't get his
way.
new glasses. Can you go rough him up a little bit?
Oh my goodness.
Just find an excuse to punch him in the
Don't-
face,
don't-
not the glasses.
Don't pull a gun at him because he'll f you up. Just
Yeah,
warn
don't go too far.
And they did that.
Just smack him up a little bit, smack the
And
glasses
even
off.
that, sorry,
Run
just
away.
a quick point on that, because I'm like, these cops are just gonna kill a lawyer. Like, I
Yeah.
mean,
a blind
That's
lawyer.
my thing too. Is he
Okay.
a lawyer, bro?
I feel like it's just a lot of heat. No, maybe.
I mean, one of the guys does say, "Yo, he's a lawyer." The other guy's like, "So
yeah,
let's do it. Let's
it's
do it."
But if he's saying so, what kind of protection do they have at the top
Exactly.
to where
Yeah,
killing
yeah.
a lawyer is nothing?
I
You
mean,
know you'll get away with it.
I think it goes.
Obviously, the judge isn't on it.
I was gonna say it goes pretty
It's
hard. That
obvious.
judge is kind of
Has to be
obvious. He's like,
him
yeah,
higher than
yeah.
that, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no bail.
Lawyer
Yeah,
schmoyer.
sit your ass in jail. He don't give a damn. I was like, damn. But this man is a decorated war veteran. Nah, he's fine.
They're like,
Sit his ass
"Why
down. Get him
call
back.
you
Sit
if you
his
don't?"
ass down.
Right. It's
So I
fine.
wonder.
don't
I
read
wonder
nothing
if.
else.
I wonder if, and I can go either way right now. If that was a whole ploy to get at Hector, or Hector was just the wrong place at the wrong time. I think it's the latter, but you
I
never
think
know.
wrong place, wrong time, because they didn't seem to give him any extra. Like if he left after the first push, they weren't gonna chase him. I don't think it didn't seem like that. And even him, like his weird wrestling moves. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
Well, it's a white tiger. In fact, actually, speaking of what I like again in talking about how this does a good job of blending comic book world and gritty realism
Mhm.
is that he talks a lot of times about, oh, I don't have my costume and I don't have my amulet.
Amulet.
Because in the comics, the amulet gives him power. He's like, I
Mhm.
don't have the power. So we're going into superpower
Mhm.
places here, which I love. Again, I love that the reminder that this is a superhero,
Superpowered
superpowered
world. Yeah.
world,
There,
right? It's not
there's
just
men in
like
spider
Batman.
suits. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like
I thought that was a nice little touch. I was gonna say, Raven, anything we haven't touched on that you liked to see?
Oh, we didn't talk about Vanessa
I was
much.
I was gonna ask you about Vanessa.
I've always loved Vanessa's character. I felt like since she was introduced in the Netflix series, the actress has always done a really great job of playing. I don't know how to describe it. Like teetering this line of like her being this nurturing, kind, like mothering spirit, but also there being this underlying, like kind of sick and slightly off thing about this woman who seems so put together. You know, like she gives off that she could be so put together, she's psychotic, just like him, you know, but she's just better at hiding it, which, you know, her taking over makes sense. Her legitimizing the business in his absence makes a lot of sense. And I love that we've dealt with that. The paintings on her wall are some of my favorite paintings. I guess I'm sick
Was
in the
she an
head.
art curator, art specialist, or
She
something like that?
was. She was an art curator when
Mhm.
he met her. And you know, and she's legitimized all the businesses. She cleaned up the businesses. The businesses are doing better than ever.
Thriving.
Um, yeah, and I love that in terms of her character, you believe it. You know, it's carried well to where you could see her being both powerful and feared. You know, like she gets people money, but also people kind of also know Kingpin is her husband. So like people, you know, fall in line accordingly. And I see her as
Yeah.
being this like commanding presence throughout this season coming in. I'm excited to see more from the actress and more of that dynamic because she's kind of the only person that can really control him. You know, almost like the Hulk with Black Widow. You know, sun's getting low. She's his like sun's getting low.
Lullaby protocols.
Yeah.
Right.
For
What I
now.
like about her character as well, yeah, I agree with you. I think also that she, at least in this season so far, she seems more as her own character who happens to be Fisk's wife, as opposed to her character is just being Fisk's wife, right? And I like that kind of dynamic it's playing with the two of them, right? She's not just
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you're back, hubby! Yay, come back into my arms." She's just like, "You."
She's like first of all, I can't with you right now.
Right. I can't
just,
even, quite
mm,
literally.
just,
Get out.
just.
It was like awkward.
He's like,
Uh,
Vanessa.
I didn't
um,
know you didn't tell Vanessa you was missing, bro. You could have said
right,
something. You could send some roses.
right. I mean, I know Echo
Damn.
shot you in the face, but you know, you could have called somebody. You have power. I
Oh
like admit, I was like, "Didn't
yeah,
she shoot you in the face?"
yeah. Right.
Nice. That's what I like about this show as well. This show is very much with the mindset of if you didn't watch anything that came before it, that's on you, son. Like it doesn't like spell it out for you. It will throw
Mhm.
Right.
little things in there, you know,
Yeah,
oh, the guy in
and
the
you
spider
don't
suit.
need to know it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
Is the original series available on Disney Plus?
yeah,
So I have to watch. Oh, okay.
it's all there.
Yeah, so there's no excuse. I mean, it's the same
Yeah.
app.
Like it
You
doesn't
don't even
even
got to switch apps.
I
Like,
feel
just
like
do
I
it.
feel like another show revival would have like someone like Bullseye coming in, and we had to get like some kind of exposition on who he was. Oh, you
Bullseye.
remember that
Yeah.
guy? Yeah, we had a fight. Oh, yeah, he broke his back. Blah, blah, blah. You know, like it doesn't do any of that. You either
Yeah,
know,
you know what they did? My best
yeah,
scene, the paperclip, paperclip on the fly, like
right.
That was dope.
And
that's who
that
he
was
is.
but the thing is, that was a reference to the Ben
To the
Affleck movie. It
yep,
wasn't even
yep,
that's why
exactly.
that was
Because
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell did
With
that
the
exact
fucking
thing.
bullseye on his
Yep,
forehead. It was so
yep.
Right.
bad.
Colin
It's
Farrell
so
did it
bad.
with it was like a
I
syringe,
love
right?
that
It
movie
was a
though when it
syringe
was
or
out.
something similar.
hmm So
But
it
this
does
was a
this good job
paperclip.
of just like if you don't know what happened before, if you don't know what the MCU is, if you don't know that's on you. We're not going to hold your hand. We're not going to spoon feed you. We're just gonna just keep moving, and you can catch up whenever you're ready. And I
Yeah.
love that. Andrew, any moments that you like that we haven't mentioned?
So the first one I just mentioned, the paperclip, of course. Then Commissioner had, even though I wish people wouldn't broadcast their intentions, but he had one of my favorite lines when he was like, "Do you know Mayor Vance? Oh, I bet you don't. I bet you don't. He served for 1 month. My personal mission is you." I was like, damn, bro. I mean,
Bless.
But like,
I did
still,
like
I
his
just
guts
wish he
though.
wouldn't say it. Yeah, he's like, I'm not
But
afraid. What?
even when Fisk was like, "Oh, okay, do you want a sandwich? You want some of this?"
And when Fisk was like, I hated that sandwich. It was
When you
disgusting.
finally realized why
Disgusting.
the sandwich,
He's such a
dang.
bastard.
He said, "Oh yeah,
even
you've been
even
here, what,
even
eating,
the way
enjoying
he
your
just like
sandwich."
lifted the envelope. He's just
Yeah.
like,
Was it
like,
this sandwich? It's like I love that. I can imagine that he
So
did this
menacing.
whole setup and this whole
yeah.
big show
He
for a
was like, oh,
sandwich.
he's
He
coming,
doesn't
he's
even
coming,
like the
he's coming,
sandwich.
he's coming. Like,
I didn't even like the
Right.
sandwich.
like,
Guys, make sure you cue the
African
lights
friends.
right. Can you dim them a little bit? Yeah.
Wait,
Okay,
where's the
perfect.
picture? Where's the picture? Put the picture
It's
here. This
coming.
doesn't
Put the
work.
picture under. The
Oh,
picture needs to be under the sandwich,
You
guys. We
gotta
spoke
turn it
about
around.
this.
It's gotta be upside down
That's
so
what
you
they
can
did
see
for
it.
30 minutes. That's why I
yeah.
was late.
No,
That's
but
literally
really,
what happened. They was like, it was like, you're 30 minutes late
like,
because you're eating a sandwich. Like,
oh my
actually,
goodness.
we were setting up, bro.
Nah.
Okay. All
See,
right.
what I
Look,
like about that.
the timing had to be right. The friend is in
Good
the
practice.
background, like, cue
Just,
picture.
just waiting.
You think the friend was like, cue photo in time, holding up cue cards.
Also, I don't understand why one of his guys is some random British guy. I don't get it, but I guess he is. One of the drivers
I'm
of Fisk.
hoping he's gonna be
I don't.
amazing
I was like, okay.
eventually because I'm tired of him. It's episode 2. What do you do, bro? You just
Yeah.
around, and
Right.
it's bothering me
But
because I
one,
done seen people that I care about in one episode also die.
right.
Like, what you doing? Why are you in the
How
background
did
of
you
all
get
these
screen
scenes,
time?
bro?
Like what?
But
Right.
what I liked about that whole sandwich moment is two things. One, the threat isn't that, oh, because at first I thought, oh, his wife and kid. Like, no, that's his mistress and an illegitimate child. That's what the threat
Exactly.
is.
No, me
Right,
too.
right.
Same. I was like,
That's
man,
his
he's
side
gonna kill.
son.
He's gonna kill them. Oh, and
That's
then
his
it's
side
like,
son.
oh,
But all credit to Commissioner. He was like, all right, bet. You know what? Fine. I won't quit. But I'm still gonna like he wasn't like, oh, I'm so sorry.
he
Oh
was
no.
like, be careful what you wish
Be
for.
careful what you wish
He was
for.
still
He's like,
like, okay,
oh,
okay,
oh, oh,
okay.
oh. This is what we're doing. Okay.
I'll stay. I'll play your games. But doesn't mean I'll play along. And I like that. It wasn't a case of he just suddenly just healed over. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh no. He was just like, fine, I'll do it. But you better watch me.
He's like, huh, that is my kid, my side chick. Fine. All right. Whatever, bro. Fine. I don't
But
care.
still
Because
on that
it's so many
same.
levels of like, I got you.
Yeah, because
It's
Fisk
just
was
like,
terrible. He was like, pay
because
raise
first of all, I could
0.
just put you on blast that you have a side piece
Child.
and a side kid, let alone the fact that I know where they live and I can also kill them.
And their favorite sandwich spot.
But I know that they
Yeah.
exist. Like, that alone is like, damn. And their favorite sandwich spot.
Oh, come.
Because I was there this morning when your son got his little sandwich, little Billy. I know what he
So,
orders every
little
day. How about
Billy.
that? I'm gonna get him one.
Raven, as a born and bred New Yorker, one of the few I actually know in real life.
Yeah.
Not
Pretty in
a
life.
transplant. Not a
Yeah,
transplant. How did
34
you feel
years, baby.
when Matt to Heather was like, "Yeah, you're from Queens, huh? You trying to hide your accent? I don't know. I hear that."
Like
I love that whole
the A's and the
conversation.
O's.
As it was very New York in the sense where like the parts you're from matter. I was like, it's one thing to be a New Yorker, but like if you're a New Yorker and you're from certain places, like you get more or less respect from
No,
other
it's
New
true.
Yorkers.
And
It's facts though.
those of you who have good hearing, you can hear Raven's accent. Probably tell where in New York she's. It slips out. It comes out of Long Island.
Yeah. Sometimes. Especially if I get real passionate. Got it. Which I'm sure is gonna happen in this episode. Like, I mean in this season. Because I was cursing my ass off when Foggy died. It's a lot. I'm still sad. I'm still reeling.
It's
Like,
again, it's brilliant storytelling because it gets us emotional, but it doesn't feel like you're forcing it. It made sense in the narrative. It made sense for the characters, but also makes sense to like create the larger mystery, right? Because Foggy was hiding someone.
yeah.
We don't go into all that. That hasn't been explored yet.
Right, we didn't have time to think about it because people are dying.
Right?
But Vincent
So
D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox were talking about the fact that it was actually like really hard for them when they found out Foggy was dying because they're all friends now. Like
Oh,
in
wow.
real life, they're all
You
cool.
came back to work
They've
with each
been
other
filming
again?
with people for years now, and
Yeah.
been scene partners with these people, and Foggy and Matt Murdock in real life, the actors. I can't think of Foggy's name right now, but they're actually really cool, like close in real life and actual friends. So they were like, some of the scenes throughout this season were really hard for them. And there's a lot of moments. They said there are several moments throughout this
Well,
season that
Fuck
were
2 years.
extremely hard for them to act out. So
Um,
like, and this was one of them. So for me, I'm like, I don't
Multiple.
know if I'm ready. I don't know if we're ready for this. And apparently
Vanessa's dying.
something's gonna happen with Vanessa too.
Vanessa's
Because
dying,
Vincent
man.
D'Onofrio kind of
Saying no.
slipped up
nah,
where
she
he had
gone.
said, in real life, the actress and him are really cool, and there's something that is going to eventually happen. Not in this show, but it's gonna eventually happen. That he said is really hard for him
Oof.
to deal with. So I'm like, ooh.
She
And
did.
there are things that are worse than death in Marvel. I'm just saying.
Right.
There
Also
are
true.
some things that are worse than death. So I don't know what's gonna happen to Vanessa.
I don't know if it was just me, but I think the Foggy death hit me harder because when I saw Foggy, I was like, "Look at you, Foggy! Nice new hairstyle. You're looking good. Okay, the glow up. Oh, you're talking to the black lady.
Talking
Yes,
to a
let's do it."
lady. Yes.
I didn't even get to do with the
Yes.
black lady. I was so
Yes,
proud of him.
King.
He had some swag for like 2 whole minutes. No, maybe 2 seconds, because it was
Yep.
bad. It was a
Right.
really bad, but he was trying. He was
He was.
fighting the fight.
He was.
I was like, the next encounter, it's going down.
Right.
Foggy.
She was laughing. You know. She was
Right,
like,
she was giggling. You gotta
yeah,
make him laugh.
it was a
You
good
gotta
time.
make him laugh.
Mm.
That's how we figured this out.
Right.
Gone too soon.
Raven, any
I feel like that's
moments
how
that
all of us ended up married. We're just funny.
right? Any moments that we haven't spoken about that you liked or stood out to you?
I don't think so. I think I just so far I love all of the characters we've been introduced to, even the smaller characters, even the kind of the dirty cops. I think acting wise, we're seeing a lot of great performances, and I'm really excited for how crazy this show is going to get, especially if this is where we're starting. I feel like just all the chains, the rails, everything have just been taken off, and Disney Plus Marvel is just like, go.
Let's go.
And they're just giving us everything we've ever wanted and more. So I'm just excited, and my biggest pet peeve so far is that it's episodic. Like, why the do I have to wait another week
That's because
for
we
another
wouldn't be able
episode?
to do this every week.
Exactly.
We can do this. All right, before we go, we're gonna close out. We're going over time. I'm gonna ask you both. I'm gonna start with you, Andrew, but same question. Two questions. One, Andrew, realistically speaking, based on characters we've already seen, who do you think could cameo? And then just like wild theory out there, who would you like to see cameo?
Jessica Jones can cameo. Iron Fist, sadly. Wait, is that show cancelled? I hope so. He better not. He better not cameo. Sorry.
You're like, please don't bring it back.
I take a Luke Cage because I thought Luke was fun, and then
They mentioned the Cotton Club.
They can't do it, but come on, Kingpin and Spider-Man, like if they just showed, like, they don't even have to do like Tom Holland himself, right?
Just
like
the costume, someone in costume.
I take the sound of the web sling. I take
the sound.
you know the
Did you hear that?
Just like
Daredevil
exactly.
super hearing.
A shadow on the
Like,
wall.
that's it.
Or a villain just webbed up on the roof as Daredevil's running by him.
Even that, exactly. Or I'd even take a J. Jonah Jameson being like, enough is enough.
That could
right?
happen.
So
I could see that.
I would like to see them, just kind of meld the worlds more. That's me.
All right, Raven, what's your realistic cameo and your left field wishful cameo?
Okay, my realistic cameo. I think we might see She-Hulk.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, good one.
I would
make
love
out
and hope
or
to
something?
see the lawyer. They had a moment. They had
They made out. They made out. No,
Yeah,
I think
they did. They did.
so.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure they hooked
I
up.
think
They had a night. No, they smashed.
They
They had a night.
Yeah.
They had a good time. I'm
Would
hoping
you
that I would love to see a Meg Thee Stallion cameo, just because she was in She-Hulk. She's already in the universe. Why not? That would be my ridiculous cameo. And then I would say, well, wait, there was somebody else I thought. Oh, Jessica Jones was mine too, and I think we are going to see, if not Jessica Jones, then definitely Luke Cage, because they hinted at his club.
Mhm.
I think we're going to see them. And then what was the part two of the question?
No, that was it. It was like with a realistic one and like your wishful out of left field cameo.
Which
I feel?
Like
Yeah,
it could be even a Marvel character we've never seen before.
I think my wish feel. Honestly, I would not be mad at seeing Spider-Man's best friend, the bald guy,
Ned.
or somebody in the Doctor Strange universe.
I mean,
That would be
Wong.
Doctor Strange because they're in the
Could see
city,
Wong.
right?
Wong would be
I could see
funny.
You know
Wong.
what I'm saying?
I could see Wong.
But isn't Wong in China right now? He's at the other side.
I mean,
but then again, they're just kind of.
Doesn't matter. He went to China for lunch, and he's now back.
Right. They do lunchtime every day at noon.
No,
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Who do you nerdies want to cameo? In this?
You said, who do you
what do you need to cameo in this? What do you need to cameo in this? Who would you like to cameo in this? Who's your left field choice? And who's your obvious choice? Find us on social media at The Nerdy Bunch. You can also check out some of our other podcasts. As I mentioned, Andrew and I, we finished last week Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. If you haven't checked that shit out, it's really good. I would say it's up there with some of the best Marvel shows. We're also doing Severance.
Animations.
Get on behind.
It's really good. It's really good. We're also watching Severance. We're doing a review of Severance. Andrew and I are about to record a new episode in the next few days. We're also doing Invincible. Check out our thoughts on that. Thank you, Raven.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
This has been a Nerdy Brunch presentation of Something to Marvel About, where we talked about the Daredevil Born Again premiere, episodes 1 and 2. Tune in next week for episode 3. And as always, Raven,
keep it nerdy. Peace.
Peace.